Parker's Kitchen. Your support makes a difference, impacting education for kids of all ages. And none of this happens without you.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, some areas in the two states seeing the impacts of Tropical Storm Debbie, from flooded roads to downed trees.
And tonight we're on your side with reporters and your chief meteorologist in areas all across the two-state. News 12 Live team coverage kicks off in just a moment. Good evening, I'm Richard Rogers.
And I'm Zana Halliburton. Thanks for joining us. We just showed you not too long ago just a snapshot of some of the impacts from Tropical Storm Debbie.
And as we speak, that slow-moving storm is making a turn for round two and possibly a parting shot. We have a first alert issued for tomorrow. First alert meteorologist Mikhail Hannah-Harding is here with a closer look at what to talk about that first alert for tomorrow and a look ahead towards the weekend coming up.
A widespread weather event leaving people in shock all across the river region.
It was all destroyed and it's just gotten worse since.
Record rainfall from Tropical Storm Debbie laying waste to millions of dollars worth of road and bridge work in just hours.
With that much water, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can't grip it.
And all day long, we've heard sounds of heavy machinery and chainsaws as crews work to repair those roads, homes, and more.
From the National Guard to neighbors, dozens are coming together to help each other in their time of need. We've had teams on the ground across the two-state all day long to see the impact of this storm.
Your first alert chief meteorologist Riley Hill is out there with them, and we're going to check in with Riley in just a minute about what he's seeing. But we begin with your Will Rio in Screven County, one of the harder hit areas. And Will, you're really in the middle of a construction zone today.
Yeah, that's right, guys. I've been in the middle of Eureka Road all day long since around 12:30 this afternoon. That's also when the National Guard showed up to Screven County, when they were called into the county to offer some help here. But I want to give you a look at what's going on right behind me. This has been the scene for hours here on Eureka Road. This road has been completely washed out. We've also seen a few people try to cross that. That's exactly what emergency officials tell you what not to do. Now, we have seen the ledges erode over the past hour or so, so this is getting narrower and narrower as the rain now starts to come down here on Eureka Road. Crews have been out here for around 4.5 hours. They've made very little progress trying to close down this gap here that's coming off of Mildred Mill Pond, which is right here. You can see just how close. We're on an embankment right here, and then the water is right here next to us, so you can see how close the pond levels are to the actual road, and that's how it got washed out. Now, we talked to several neighbors who actually live across the dam as well, that have been trapped on this side per se, and they said this is the most rain. This is the highest they've ever seen this.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was a small, minor breach, but it was nothing like this. With that much water, there's nothing you could do. I mean, you can't prep for this. Now, I mean, we've had problems on here, something like this, but we've never had it that big or that much where we can. I mean, we've had to close the road before, but never like this.
Now, the rain has continued to be a major factor here as crews are trying to close the gap here on Eureka Road of this dam that has now started to wash away some of the road. This is about the third time we started to see some rain fall that had paused some crews trying to close up the road. We talked to some people out in Rocky Ford on the other side of town. They say that the Ogeechee River is the highest that they've seen since Hurricane Hugo. So that gives you an idea of just how much rainfall they've seen down here in Screven County. And I know this is not the only dam issue. The dam issue of our area here. We know Riley has been up in Barnwell trying to track a dam up there that has had some problems.
Really just a big mess right there behind you, Will. Thankful for those crews out there trying to fix the problem, because it could have been really frightening for someone to roll up on that.
They've been at it for hours trying to kick this road closed back up again, and we wish them well with a few hours of daylight remaining out there. As you can see now, we're going to bring in Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. He's in Barnwell County.
Riley, what have you been seeing? We know you've been to multiple places across the CSRA today.
Yeah, guys, we started in Barnwell County, or we started in Burke County first, just outside of Sardis. We encountered a couple of washed out roads off Tom Bergeron Road and also off of Beaver Dam Road, where Beaver Dam Creek actually was overflowing that roadway. We started there. We made our way into northern Screven County, and Hiltonia had a number of flooded properties that we encountered on Hiltonia. Heltonia Creek Road, and then we made our way into Allendale County after crossing the Burton Ferries Bridge over the Savannah River, which is currently at a flood warning and going to stay at a flood warning through the weekend. Crossed over into Allendale County, saw pretty similar scenes, just a lot of standing water on a lot of properties. The interesting thing, though, is once we changed our geography going into Barnwell County, where they have seen more rain, 8 to 9 inches over the last couple of days, there's just less signs of the flooding going on. You can see behind me there is a road closed sign. We do have this road closed. This is off Lake Drive between Barnwell and Williston. They were worried about this pond. It doesn't look super high right now, but I was talking with the residents here, and they were saying yesterday this was over the banks, and you can actually see where some kids are playing on their boogie boards over there. There's another pond on the other side there. That pond was overflowing into this one, and then this one was over breaching the dam, and they were worrying it was going to fail. And this isn't the only pond that they were having to worry about that here in Barnwell County. There's another pond that, unfortunately, if that breached, that would impact Highway 278, and that was another concern. So there's not necessarily as noticeable flood impacts here in Barnwell County in the sense that you see standing water in yards or a lot of water in ditches. It's because the geography here in Barnwell County, it's much more elevated. There's a lot more elevation changes. So people live generally in the high spots. All the water can just funnel down to our low spots, our creeks, our streams, and end up in these ponds and rivers. And those are what's flowing very high right now in Barnwell County.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing here too, Riley, is we're seeing some of those creeks, and of course the pond levels are continuing to rise here, and that's what's causing the water to come over a lot of these dirt roads. That's what we see a lot of in Screven County. The dirt roads are getting completely washed out here, or there's even giant culverts too, and pipes that are underneath these dirt roads that are being completely washed out by some of this rainfall that we've seen over the past 48 hours now. Rain just lightened up here, but again, those major creeks and those ponds here are what officials are keeping their eye on. And certainly this dam has become a major issue as we're continuing to see people cross this because they're trapped on the other side. They have no way out. There's a dead end over there. So the only way out is to cross that water, which is something that emergency officials are really telling people not to do at this time.
And I'm pretty sure, Will, down there in Screven County, just driving down there, I'm sure you encountered a lot of flooded properties to where you just saw standing water pretty much everywhere you looked on either side of the highway. And that's because down there in Screven County, it's much flatter. Here in Barnwell County, we just have those elevation changes where I think that's why it was just a little less noticeable here in Barnwell. But down there in Screven County, I know we saw it firsthand. We only went into the northern part of Screven County around Heltonia, but even there, we had flooded farms, flooded yards. All the ditches were all the way to their maximum. So it's interesting to see the geographical changes and how it handles that flood water much different.
Yeah, it's been pretty much different everywhere, even in Newington, which is very close to here. I mean, they saw 12.89 inches of rain just yesterday, so it's been a significant and even historic rainfall, as EMA crew have been telling us. It's just been places that didn't flood before, back in Idalia last year, are now flooded this time with Tropical Storm Debbie. So real difference from what we've seen from year to year, from storm to storm as well.
Thank you both for the update. We know rain is still in the forecast, so we'll have to continue to keep our eyes on those areas. The National Guard spent part of the day in Screven County as well. They were called in from Douglas County. The county called them in to help with flooding and downed trees.
And also, News 12 crew sending in some new video of this impacted boat ramp. This is the Ogeechee River, and you can see how fast it's running. That is the Rocky Ford boat ramp in Screven County. High water, fast-moving currents. It's a dangerous time to be out on the water, no matter where you are. Sending things over now to Hallie Turner in Allendale, South Carolina. Hallie has a closer look at what's going on to get things back up and running where she is. Take it away, Hallie.
Well, we've kind of got a little bit of a mixture from where Will is in Screven versus where Riley is in Barnwell. Allendale has some low-lying areas, but there's also some places that are pretty high too. So this is what you're seeing when you get a mix of the two. A lot of stagnant water. And what you can't see behind here is a pond that the water level right here that's on this road has reached that pond level. So everything is the same, and it is pretty stagnant out here. We've got signs out here that say the roads are subject to flooding. That's what we heard today from the EMA leader, Kara Troy. She told me, she was like, Hallie, you know, this is what happens in Allendale when when the levels are so low out here. So they're expecting that second wind. What we've also seen is that it's not just impacting businesses who can't get down these roads to get stuff into their supply stores, but it's also impacting our farmers. Our farmers out on the back roads of Allendale County, their crops are completely washed out. Homes that people are living in from the apartments, the Fairfax apartment complex, they have had two senior citizens evacuate out to stay safe. That water, the drains just aren't draining right, and that's what we have around here. A lot of the water, too, they're having some sewage issues, so they're really waiting right now on South Carolina Department of Transportation to come in and pump these drains out to get them completely clear, but that takes time, and they don't know how much time they have before Tropical Storm Debbie returns back to our area. I mean, just around the last 30 minutes to an hour, the wind has really picked up. You can see on the water right here, the raindrops are coming down. So we just don't know what the effects will look like tomorrow, but everyone's hunkering down. EMA here in Allendale County is urging you to please stay out of these waters. We don't know what's in them, especially with these ponds that you can't see in the back. You don't know if there's something swimming around the water versus the sewage that may be coming in. But that's what we've got here, and everyone's on standby.
And we do not need one more drop of rain. Hallie Turner in Allendale for us. And the agricultural impact, that cannot be understated, because that could be a huge story going forward. Those farmlands are underwater, too, in many cases.
Significant flooding right now, and with rain in the forecast, we don't know when things are going to clear up for them.
So from farms to homeowners, some of them are reeling from the impact of this record flooding in the area, which can be extremely expensive if you have insurance or not.
Your senior investigative reporter Liz Owens joins us now with advice on how to save your bank account.
Well, the Office of Consumer Protection calls them storm chasers. They are scam artists who prey on vulnerable homeowners in the aftermath of storm damage. Storm chasers ask for payments up front and then disappear without ever doing work. Now, to protect yourself, homeowners, you need to do a little work yourself before handing over any money. First, check for a professional license. We do this all the time on the I-team. You can do that through a quick online search through the licensing division with the Georgia Secretary of State's office. And in South Carolina, you just search licenses through labor licensing and regulations. Second, keep in mind some professions like roofers in Georgia do not require a license. And in those cases, you really want to search the name or a business name through the Better Business Bureau. Read through the reviews. Third, check for the business license. Now, you can do that by searching businesses, their names on the Secretary of State's website, both in Georgia and in South Carolina. Now, even if someone is licensed, insured, and bonded, get everything in writing, the specific scope of the job, and the start and the end date of the project. Finally, this is what the Office of Consumer Protection says. Do not pay more than 1/3 upfront at most of the total cost as a down payment.
Thank you. Important reminders right there, Liz Owens. More districts continuing to make changes due to the impacts from Debbie. Bamberg County schools will remain closed tomorrow. Screven and Jenkins County schools are closed tomorrow and Friday. In Aiken County, Busby Elementary School, Corbett Middle School, and Wagner Sally High School will be on a 2-hour delay tomorrow because of the impacts from Debbie. Also for these schools, only lunch will be served in the cafeterias. Mikkel?
Well, we are still looking at higher rainfall chances moving in again for Thursday before we finally say goodbye to Debbie. We'll look at that coming up next.
And our coverage of Tropical Storm Debbie continues right after this break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert Weather Team.
Cars are smart.
Welcome back. Sky 12 giving us a bird's eye view of that record flooding we've been talking a lot about today. This is the Savannah River west of Allendale near Beaver Dam Road and New Burton's Ferry Bridge. That's Highway 301 if you know that area. All this downstream of Augusta, McKell, and part of the river we're going to be watching carefully with all that heavy rain flowing in from all those creeks. And really look how fast that current is running in that drone shot. It is already really muddy and really moving fast.
Definitely turned up pretty good there, Richard, by that muddy color. And as you said, streams, rivers, or small creeks and streams could feed into ponds, which just could further the threat for flooding into later this week. So we'll definitely continue to keep a close eye on that, especially with the possibility of more rainfall tomorrow. Here's a current look from the Thurman Dam Cam and also outside of Grovetown here. So more cloudy in Grovetown versus a good bit of blue sky and even
today. Hi, Suzanne Lily Honey Michael here with Hardwood Floors and More. School is back in, and that means all Board of Education members receive 10% off of all products at Hardwood Floors and More. As the mom of a teacher, I know the sacrifices she makes, as well as everyone that works in the school system. So if you need flooring, lighting, wallpaper, or any of the great products we carry, stop by and let us help you make your home special. Hardwood Floors and More, so much more in store for you.
I was in a motorcycle accident and I broke my leg. They wouldn't even do surgery on me for 2 months until the swelling went down. I still have to pay bills. That's what I was worried about. So I just got on the phone and I called Austin Jackson. They were very good, professional. The settlement that I received was life-changing. All my bills are paid and I'm doing well. Get Austin Jackson, the Augusta guy.
Labor Day mattress deal.
We have new information about the death of an infant at an Augusta motel. Investigators say the 3-month-old Josiah Sarai died of hypothermia after being wrapped in a wet blanket and placed in front of an air conditioner set at 61 degrees. 3 suspects were charged with felony murder and child cruelty in the 2nd degree. They include the mom, September Sarai, Diane Sarai, and Antonio Nash. Deputies say when they arrived at the motel Tuesday morning, they found Josiah unresponsive and was later pronounced dead at a hospital.
New at 6 o'clock, receipts obtained by News 12 could shed some light on Augusta Mayor's reimbursements. Questions about the mayor's reimbursement request were first brought up by the mayor himself a couple of weeks ago. As Sydney Hood reports, most city department heads have a city-owned credit card, but the mayor uses his personal credit card.
From January to June, the mayor requested to be reimbursed more than $57,000. We requested all receipts turned in by the mayor during this time. These expenses include conference trips, office supplies, mayor's master reception, and more. In a July 26th letter, the city's finance director, Donna Williams, told the mayor she strongly urges the mayor to stop using his personal credit card for government-related purchases. She said the same thing in a January 26th letter when the mayor requested more than $41,000 for charges made from December 23rd to the 30th in 2023. Director Williams also says she spoke to members of his staff in October and encouraged the use of the procurement process. In the same letter, she attached a link to the city's policy when it comes to city credit cards. The mayor asked Director Williams if it was required for the mayor to have a city-issued card. Director Williams said it's not her decision to make, and what is currently being requested is outside of existing policies.
Sydney Hood reporting for us there. The mayor says his office and the finance department are working through a solution they hope to settle at Tuesday's committee meeting. He expects to have more to report after that meeting, and we'll keep you informed. Mikkel.
Well, we are still looking at potential impacts for one more day from Debbie tomorrow before we finally say goodbye to Debbie. We'll talk about that in your forecast next.
Please join me for a live educational webinar where I'll break down every aspect of Medicare. I promise you'll walk away feeling confident and prepared to take the next step on your Medicare journey. It's free to join, and you can sign up right on our website, or u64.com.
Before she was... Ask your doctor about Dupixent, the most prescribed biologic in asthma.
We all know Medicare is confusing, but if you're a veteran, it can be even more complex. Our team has helped thousands of veterans coordinate their Medicare with VA benefits, Champ VA, and TRICARE for life. Don't wait until you're 65 to call, or u64.com.
At the CBS ED News, we focus on solutions, finding solutions to help people understand what are the right choices to make for you and your family.
Hey guys, it's Anna Christina for Root.
Stop by Palmer Equipment Company at 708 North Bypass West in Washington, or visit us online at palmerequipmentco.com. Trust Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert.
Breaking news.